Should I go and should I take my dog to a dog show? Well, the answer may surprise you coming up. Hey friends, this is Jason Baum. I'm president of the Presa Canario Club of America. I'm a breeder myself, I'm an AKC judge, and I'm the U.S. delegate for the Presa Canario Club of Spain. Now, a question I've heard is, why would I want to go to a dog show? Well, you might be a owner of a Presa Canario or another dog for that matter. A new breeder, perhaps a breeder with a lot of experience, a lot of years behind you, or maybe you're just looking for a dog and you don't have one yet, and you'd like to find the best. Well, going to a dog show very well may be the key to your success and your progression. Now, what is a dog show? Some people would say that it is a beauty contest. It's nothing more than a beauty contest even. Or maybe that it's a political thing where the people who have good friends are buying their way into accreditation or something like that. Some people say that it's meaningless. It's maybe a sport for aristocrat type people or high class people, or that it is for prideful people that just want to show off. Well, that I listened to a lot of those ideas in the past, and I kind of bought into a lot of those things. But later on, I found out that I was wrong when I found out more about what the reality is of a dog show. Now, what is the purpose of a dog show? I think first and foremost, we need to align our vision with the vision of the breed originators. And let me explain. As far as Presa Canarios, I often would like a larger dog, perhaps a dog that was enormous, gigantic even, like one of those videos that they have or pictures that they have on the internet that shows a dog that's as big as a horse or something like that, doctored as they may be. Now, maybe I wanted to create that, and that was my vision, right? But if we are working within a breed and we start working outside of the original circle that the people who wrote the standard were trying to hit, we start moving into a different breed or no breed at all. So even though I may want to do something totally different, I may want to have a dog that's more athletic, a dog that's faster, or maybe one that runs better, or maybe one that can climb ladders and do things that and jump over cars or something like that. If that is not the vision that the original breed standard riders had, then I'm inventing my own breed. The Presa Canario had a vision, has a standard that was written as a vision by the Canary Islanders. They are the experts, and they had a big meetings, and I've been to those meetings over and over again. And let me tell you, they are not friendly meetings. They're very contentious. People are yelling. People are making sometimes personal attacks. They're very angry at each other. But at the end of the day, they had a consensus about what the breed should be. So it's important that we know that. When we go to a dog show, we align our vision with the vision of the breed originators. So even though I'd want something different, I've got to go before a judge who studies and is knowledgeable about the original vision and the standard as written, and will give me an explanation of why or why not my dog does not fit that standard. And that's that's very hard to open yourself up to that kind of criticism. But I think someone who is mature and someone who is trying to advance and get better themselves needs to do that. Number 2, we need to ensure that the structure of our dog is ideal for the work that it has in mind. So let me explain that. I probably didn't even say it right, but there was a university in United States. They came up with new laws that said we need to have equal representation among male and female athletes at the university. But there just happened to be a lot more male athletes. So at opening day, they decided they were going to create a rowing team. They brought together experts at rowing who were very knowledgeable about the proper structure that a person should have, the angulations, the percentages of length of leg compared to the body length, the overall height, the length of their arms. They were very knowledgeable about that structure that makes a great rower. And so at freshman day, at registration day, they looked around, and as all these girls were coming up to register, they would approach girls and say, we would like to talk to you about joining the rowing team. Well, they hadn't known anything about rowing. They didn't know what rowing was. Some of these girls didn't even know how to swim. But they talked to them about joining the rowing team just based on judging them by their structure. Well, you would think there's probably people who have rowed for years and years. Maybe it's their passion, it's their life, and so forth. Whereas these girls had no clue even what it was. They'd never done it. They didn't know anything about it. They won the national championship just based on their structure. A show judge is looking at the structure of the dog. You can train, you can do all kinds of things, but you can't change the structure. That is a genetic thing. Maybe I have a great idea that I want to be a basketball player and I want to be the top basketball player in the world. Unfortunately, I just don't have the structure for that. I'm never going to be better than Michael Jordan, no matter how much I practice, no matter how much I try. And it's based on structure. Now, number 3, we need to ensure that we can learn and grow and progress, and a dog show is a great time to learn from the experts. We bring in people, or people are brought in to dog shows that have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, that know how to judge structure, that know how to look to see if a dog is correct and shows the standard off very well. We need to come with an open mind and say, I do want to learn. I do want to understand things. When I first went to a dog show, I had the fortune to be brought right into the ring because I can speak Spanish, and I was able to translate and help and write down the critiques from the judges from Spain. And I would go, they would go through one dog after the other, very, very thoroughly looking at these dogs. Well, the next dog that was up, boy, what an amazingly beautiful dog. I thought, this is the best. Obviously, this dog is the best. Look at the color. Look at the head. It's just ginormous. just look at everything about this dog. It's incredible. And I kind of made a comment somewhat to that effect to the judges, and they said, no, you're wrong. This dog is not very good at all. And I was shocked, because clearly the dog was the most beautiful dog. Well, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the vision of the originators, the Canary Islanders. They're looking for the standard, and they're looking for the structure. As they went through the dog and talked about everything, and talked about the shapes of the heads and different things, they talked about the body and the angulations of things and why that was a problem, and how the movement was going to be altered based on the angulation of the legs. And I thought, that can't be right. And they said, okay, you're going to see as they go to run, they're going to, the back legs of the dog, it's going to look like it's riding a bicycle. And I thought, how can you judge that? Said, just take a look. And they said, can you go ahead and run? And if they weren't right, it was incredible. The dog looked like it was riding a bicycle in the back. It was kind of an uncoordinated thing. It was something that was shocking to me. So I really found a lot of information about that when I learned from the judges themselves. As far as being political, it is the pride of a judge to do things ethically and correctly. The judge after judge has told me, when I enter a ring, I have no friends. I have no one that I care about. All I'm looking at is the dog, and that's the only thing I'm judging. It could be my worst enemy. It could be somebody that I wish ill in this life. But I judge the dog, and if it's the best, it's the best. And they don't make any other type of judgment. That is really a matter of honor and a matter of pride in being a judge, is doing that. And that's the way I feel too when I'm judging dogs. I don't look at who is on the other end of the leash. I only look at the dog themselves. Now, here's a question that a lot of people have, and a concern. They say, I know nothing about showing dogs. I don't know anything. Well, and you certainly see some people that show that seem like they're an expert. They're out there, they're posing the dog. The dog is very obedient. The dog is putting its head up and all sorts of things. And whereas other people, their dogs are running around their legs and so forth. Now, I'm not trying to discourage someone from getting trained and being knowledgeable. And there's certainly a lot of videos on YouTube and other areas where you can learn those things. And that's a great thing, and I would encourage you to learn those things. But don't let that be something that stops you. A dog judge, their job is to see beyond any kind of theatrics that are being done by the handler or by the person presenting the dog. They need to judge the dog based on whether that dog, it would be a good breeding dog, period. So if they are too inexperienced or too fresh or they're too novice to not be able to see beyond that, that's a problem with the judge. But the judges that are knowledgeable, that know what they're doing, they're going to see beyond that. So what does that mean for you? Don't worry about those kind of things. Go ahead, bring your dog, learn from them, find out about the structure, find out about whether you are on target for what the kind of dog you have, and you will be much better off for it. And you'll know even from the next generation, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to improve on If you hear that 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, you know that it's correct, and you need to judge accordingly on what you should be doing. So thanks for listening to this video, and I sure am glad that you guys are taking the time to do this and taking the time to learn. Thanks.